start. Looking for the front five. You better believe it. That's how you close. That's the work of a closer. Help this time on the 9-pin. I'm sorry, he's looking for a ham bone!
get back to Cocoa Beach.
Pickup.
What is going on, everybody? It is Frank the Tank, and that was the Trend 2, and the Uproar. So, um, I'm actually kind of surprised that turned out the way it did because, uh, okay, you see, the thing is that I have never had to use three different bowling balls, and I've never actually, I have, but the thing is that I've never had to like alternate them between them every single frame. I was thinking about going with the idea of just using one ball each game, but I thought that it would, catering more to the comparison type of thing, which is what I really wanted to go for. I felt it would be better to just alternate and just do ball of frame, if that's what they call it. So yeah, I thought for sure that this whole thing was just going to fall apart, but it surprisingly turned out really, really well. And you see, the thing is it can be a challenge if you try using a bunch of different bowling balls and alternating every single frame, because obviously, not every ball is going to react the same. Each one is going to have you having to, adjust, standing in different places. And with these, it wasn't really much of a difference. I know with the Trend, I had to be a little more right than what I was with the Trend 2 and the Uproar. But other than that, it turned out really, really good. And yeah, I mean, there is one thing that I will say about this is that when you know your equipment really, really well, this whole thing with alternating and adjusting and knowing how every ball works and where you're supposed to stand with every ball, if you know your equipment really well, then it should be a breeze. And despite the fact that I knew my equipment really well, I knew these three bowling balls really well and what I had to do, what paths to take on the lanes. I still had that in the back of my mind that this whole thing was going to fall apart, but I'm just glad that it turned out the way it did. So I think it's pretty obvious how these three bowling balls are different from each other. The trend is probably the biggest difference, being the fact that it's a pearl cover just like the Uproar, but the big difference between those two is that the trend, obviously, it goes way longer, which makes sense because I believe it's got the same cover stock that is put on the High Road Pearl, and you all know I think it's the R2S cover stock. That cover is known for making the ball go very long. And also, now we know with that piston core in there, it definitely gives the ball a good, pop off the back. And I guess with the Uproar, it definitely with the core that's in there. I don't remember what it's called, but it's clear that that thing is probably the strongest, which surprised me because I did remember that I said that the Trend 2 is like probably like an upgraded version of the Uproar, and it didn't really seem that way. It looked like the Uproar was the strongest thing of the three, which is crazy, but. I guess now I can, if I, that's what I said in the Trend 2 video. I think, I guess I should correct that and say that the Trend 2 is just similar to the Uproar. It's not an upgraded version. It's just virtually similar. And I still stand by what I said, though. I mean, if you missed out on the chance to try the Uproar, the Trend 2 is definitely like the closest thing to that. So you definitely have to try it out. So comparing the length between the Uproar and the Trend, I don't really know what to say there. I mean, to me, it seemed like maybe the length on the Trend was way more than the Uproar. But the Uproar definitely saves its energy really well. That combined with the core definitely makes it pop off the back end way more than the other two bowling balls. The Trend 2, it probably sits in between that. The length is not, like a pearl cover, which makes sense. It's a hybrid cover. But yeah, it definitely brings the length back a little bit more, and it still has that very, very good back end to it. So that's really nice to see. And really, nothing else that I could say. I mean, that's all I got. Uh, I did decide on playing 4 games for a reason. Usually, you guys know I stick to 3, but for this one, I decided to play 4 because after the third game, I noticed that that right part of the lane further back was starting to dry up, and I thought, you know what, let's amp it up a bit and try lofting since I haven't done that in a while, and I figured, these 3 bowling balls could definitely do it, and it was working, and I felt like the Uproar was probably the easiest one to do that with, considering the fact that the length, at least for my preference, the length was just right. The Trend was a little too lengthy for me, and that Uproar, man, it just really gets back. I really really like that. The Trend. It got back too, but I don't know. The length and the shape of it, it's just not really something that works for me. The Uproar just seemed a little more manageable for me. And then the Trend 2, I don't really know what I can say about it. I mean, I have hooked the entire lane with it, but I don't know. I just don't really know what else to say. So that's my take on the Trend 2, the Trend, and the Uproar. Not very much I can really say here. I mean, I gave it the best that I could. But all in all, I'm glad how it turned out, and I hope you guys liked it. So yeah, that's the end of that. Now we must move on to something else. Don't know what, but we'll see. I'll make it up as I go along. I'm Frank the Tank. I'll catch you guys in the next one.